when the mannequin in the window waved back at me. Don't look at the mannequin after this true scary story. You pass the same store window every evening on your walk home, until the night one of them turns its head. Not much, just enough to meet your eyes. And then it raises a hand, waves, slowly, like it knows your name, like it has been waiting for you to notice. The story. I started noticing the mannequin in early April 2026. The store was a mid-range fashion place on 23rd Avenue. Big glass windows, always lit after dark. 4 mannequins in the front display. I walked past twice a day, to the train in the morning, home at night. They were just plastic, blank faces, stiff poses. I barely registered them. One evening I stopped to tie my shoe. The rain had just stopped. Streetlights reflected on the wet sidewalk. I glanced up. The mannequin on the far left, wearing a beige trench coat, was looking directly at me, not forward like the others. Head turned slightly, eyes locked on mine. Plastic eyes, no pupils, but the gaze felt personal. I stared back. It didn't move. I laughed at myself. Trick of the light, reflection, angle. I walked on. Next night, it was still there. Same coat, same pose. But the head was turned a little more. I stopped again, watched. Nothing. Then slowly the right hand lifted, fingers straight. A small wave, not mechanical, not jerky, smooth, human. I felt the hair on my neck rise. I backed away. It lowered the hand. Head returned to neutral. I hurried home. I told my roommate. He laughed. "You need sleep." I showed him the next evening. We stood across the street, watched. Nothing. The mannequin stared forward. Blank. My roommate shrugged. "You're seeing things." I went closer, pressed my face to the glass. The plastic face was smooth. No seams, no joints visible at the neck. The hand that waved was now in a different position, fingers slightly curled, like it had been relaxed after the gesture. I started recording, phone out. Filmed the window for 5 minutes every night. Nothing on playback, no movement, no wave. But when I watched live, it happened again. Always when I was alone on the sidewalk. May I avoided the street, took the bus, extra blocks. But the dream started. I was in the window, wearing the beige coat, posed, plastic skin, no heartbeat. People walked by outside. No one looked up. I tried to wave. My arm wouldn't move unless the strings allowed it. Strings I couldn't see, but I felt them. Thin, tight, pulling at wrists, ankles, neck. I woke up gasping, checked my closet. The beige coat was there. I never owned one. Tag still on. Size exact. I threw it out. Next morning it was back, folded neatly on my chair. Dry, clean. I went to the store during the day, asked the clerk, "Who dresses the windows?" She smiled. "Our stylist comes at night. Employees only." I waited until closing, watched from across the street. Lights off. No one entered. No one left. At 2 a.m. the window lights came on. Dimmer. A silhouette inside. Tall. Thin. Adjusting the mannequins. I couldn't see the face, but it turned toward the glass, looked straight at me, raised a hand, waved. I ran home, locked the door, sat in the dark. My phone buzzed. Notification from an unknown number. A photo. Me, standing outside the store window. Night before. Looking in. Time-stamped. The mannequin behind me in the photo was waving. I deleted it. Blocked the number. Next buzz. Another photo. Me sleeping in my bed. From above. Angle impossible. No one in the room. Time-stamped last night. I moved. New apartment. New neighborhood. No stores like that nearby. Relief. But last week I walked past a different window. Eyes on me. It raised a hand. Waved. slowly. I didn't stop. I kept walking, but I felt the tug, light, at my wrist, guiding my steps, not hard, not painful, just enough to remind me. The strings are there now. I see them sometimes. In mirrors, in shadows. Thin silver lines from ceiling to shoulders, from floor to ankles. They don't pull hard, not yet. They just wait. For the moment I forget. For the moment I think I'm free. Then the hand lifts, and I wave back, because I have to. The mannequins started wearing my face. Don't look in the store window after this true scary story. You walk past the same clothing store every day on your way home. Mannequins in the window, dressed in the latest styles, staring out with blank faces. You never think twice about them. Until one evening, you notice one is wearing your jacket. And the face looking back at you is yours. Not a mask, not a photo. Your actual face, and it smiles when you don't. The story. I moved to Portland in early 2025 for a job at a small graphic design firm. My apartment was 2 blocks from a mid-range clothing store called Thread and Bone. Big windows, they were just plastic. I barely registered them. One rainy Thursday in November, I stopped under the awning to shake water from my coat. That's when I saw it. The mannequin in the back corner, the one usually in a gray sweater, was wearing my navy peacoat, the one I'd left hanging in my closet that morning. Same buttons, same frayed cuff from the sleeve I caught on a doorknob last year. I laughed. Coincidence. Someone had the same coat. I walked on. Friday morning, it was still there. Same coat, but now the mannequin's head had been turned slightly, facing the street. Its blank plastic face seemed to follow me as I passed. I told myself it was the angle of the light. That night, I went home and checked my closet. The coat was gone. Not misplaced. Not stolen. My door was locked, windows closed, no sign of entry. I called the store. No answer after hours. I told myself I'd go in tomorrow and ask. Saturday morning, the coat was back in my closet, folded neatly, dry, no rain spots. I felt sick. I walked to Thread and Bone anyway. The mannequin in the window was now wearing a different outfit, my favorite black hoodie, the one I wore to work yesterday. The hood was up, shadowing the face. I stepped closer to the glass. The face wasn't blank anymore. It was mine, my eyes, my mouth, my freckles across the nose. Not a photo pasted on. The plastic had reshaped itself. Skin texture, pores, even the small scar above my left eyebrow from a biking accident when I was 12. Not a trick of light. A slow, deliberate blink. Then it smiled. The smile I make when I'm nervous tight at the corners, teeth barely showing. I backed away. It watched me go. I didn't go back to the store. I avoided that street for a week. Took the long way home. But the dream started. I was in the window, dressed in someone else's clothes, posing for people who walked by without looking. My limbs stiff. My face frozen in that nervous smile. I woke up sweating, checking my closet. My clothes were always there, but sometimes a sleeve was wrinkled in a way I didn't remember. 2 weeks later, I had to pass the store. Again, construction blocked the detour. The mannequins were rearranged. All 4 now wore my clothes. Coat, hoodie, work shirt, jeans. One laughing, one blank. They were posed like a family, portrait arms around each other, looking out at the street, looking at me. My phone buzzed. Caption, new arrivals. Come see yourself in the latest styles. I deleted the app, blocked the account, unfollowed everything. But the next morning, my closet was empty. Every shirt, every pair of pants, every jacket gone. I opened the door to go buy new clothes. The hallway outside my apartment was lined with mannequins, all wearing my face, all wearing my clothes. They stood silent, waiting. I slammed the door, called the police. They came, Searched the hallway. Nothing. No mannequins, they said. The lights in the apartment flickered. When they came back on, the mannequins were inside, standing around me. One reached out, touched my cheek. Its plastic hand was warm. It leaned close, whispered in my own voice, "We've been waiting for you to come home." I don't remember leaving the apartment. I don't remember walking to the store. But I woke up in the window, dressed in someone else's coat. People walk by outside. They don't look up. They never do. Passing by, he glances at the window, sees me, stops for a second, and the window never empties. I worked in the factory that produces nothing. Don't apply for that job after this true scary story. No experience needed. Immediate start. Good pay. Quiet facility. You applied because you need the money. And once you're inside, you realize it's not about making products. It's about keeping the machines running. And the machines run on you. I applied in March 2026. The ad was on a job board no one uses any more plain text. No company name, just coordinates and a promise. $28 an hour, 40-hour weeks. The facility was outside town chain link fence. No sign, concrete buildings that looked abandoned. A guard in a gray uniform checked my ID, handed me a badge. Employee number 11,947. No name. Through the double doors. Yellow line painted down the center. Lights overhead cold white. No shadows. No windows. No clocks. No handle. It opened when I got close. Conveyor belts running in perfect rows. Machines humming low, but nothing on the belts. Eyes forward. No one spoke. No one looked at me. No name tag. If it jams, press the red. Do not leave your station. Do not talk. Do not look around. Breaks every 4 hours. Lunch at noon. Go. Nothing happened. 4 hours later, a chime. Break room. Tables. Chairs. Vending machines with water and plain crackers. No one talked. Everyone ate in silence. I tried to ask the man next to me what we were making. He stared straight ahead, didn't blink, didn't answer. The lights never changed. No day or night. I slept in a dormitory on-site rows of cots. No personal items allowed. Press red if it jams. It never jammed, but I pressed green sometimes anyway. Tiny gray particles. I watched them move. They looked like ash. I asked the supervisor during rounds, "What are we making?" He said, "Continue processing." The hum in the factory got louder. Like breathing, slow, steady. Month 3, the dust turned to flakes. Paper thin. Gray. They drifted onto my gloves. I brushed them off. They stuck. The other workers didn't rush. They let the flakes settle. One night I woke in the dorm. My cot was covered. Flakes on my skin. In my hair. In my mouth. I tasted ash. I spat. The flakes kept coming. I tried to leave. Walked the hallway back to the entrance. It stretched longer. Hours. The yellow line faded. Lights dimmed. I turned back. Found my station again. The belt was waiting. Month 4, the flakes became scraps. Torn paper. Shredded documents. Bits of photographs. Names I didn't recognize. Faces half destroyed. I saw my own face once. Younger. Smiling. Torn diagonally. I tried to pick it up. The belt pulled it away. Just tone. Disappointment. Month 5, the supervisor stopped rounds. The other workers stopped moving. They stood frozen. Flakes piling on their shoulders. Their eyes open, but dull. Whole documents. Letters, resumes, my resume. Date of hire, March 2026. Position, observer. Status, active. I ran, found the hallway. It ended at a mirror. My reflection stared back. Gray coveralls, flakes in my hair, eyes dull. I raised my hand. The reflection didn't. It lowered its hand instead. The hum laughed. I turned. The factory floor was behind me again. He handed me a new badge. #11947. Same number, same photo, but the face was older, thinner, flakes in the hair. Continue processing, he said. I returned to my station. The belt was empty again. No dust, no flakes. It never jams. The hum is quieter now, but it's still there. And the factory never closes, because it was never open. It just needs observers. Don't clock in after this true scary story. You think your job is just a paycheck. Same desk, same tasks, same fluorescent hum every day. You clock in, do your work, clock out. Safe, predictable. Until the day you realize the department doesn't need you to produce anything. It needs you to keep existing inside it. And once you're hired, the only way out is to stop being. The story. I started at the department in October 2025. No interview. One morning, I simply knew the address. A gray office building downtown, 12th floor. I took the elevator up. Doors opened onto an open-plan floor that stretched too far. Rows of cubicles under lights that never flickered, but never felt fully bright. My desk was already waiting. The inbox contained one message from HR. Welcome. Your role is to process forms. Do not ask what the forms are for. Do not ask who receives them. Do not leave the floor before shift end. Shift end is when the lights dim. The lights never dim. I opened the first folder. A single sheet, paper so thin it felt like tissue. Fields, name, date of birth, date of termination, cause, all blank except the header. Confidential, department use only. I filled them in. The information arrived in my mind fully formed. A stranger's name, a birth date, a termination date 3 weeks away, 'cause listed as natural. I pressed submit. The form vanished. Another appeared. Lunch was announced by a chime like distant glass breaking. Break room. Vending machines with unmarked water bottles and sandwiches in wax paper with no expiration. I ate alone. The clock on the wall had no hands. I returned to my desk. The inbox was fuller than when I left. Weeks passed, or months. Time was measured only by the forms. I noticed patterns. Termination dates were always future. Causes always plausible. Heart attack, stroke, accident, sudden illness. Never violence. Never suicide. One day, a form arrived heavier than the others. Paper thick. CAUSE blank. Below it, one line. Performance satisfactory. Continue processing. I stared. The hum returned, louder. I filled the blank fields with my own information, inventing a cause automobile accident, because leaving them empty felt worse. The hum faded. The next day, the lights were slightly dimmer. The fluorescence had a faint yellow tint, as though the tubes were aging faster than they should. The cubicle wall seemed closer, aisles narrower. I asked the employee next to me woman, with name tag number 392,114, if she noticed. She looked at me with eyes that did not blink. There is no change, she said. The department has always been this size. I returned to my desk. Names became familiar. A childhood friend, a former coworker, my sister, my mother. Termination dates closer. I filled them anyway. I had to. The hum returned whenever my hand hesitated. One night, the lights dimmed early. Not shift end never came, but deliberate lowering, as though someone upstairs turned a dial. Fluorescence buzzed louder. Shadows stretched between cubicles like spilled ink. I stood, walked to the window. Glass black, reflective. I saw myself staring back, but the reflection did not move in sync. It stood still while I moved. When I raised my hand, it lowered its. I returned to my desk, computer screen on, no prompt. Just text. You are no longer required to process forms. Your role is now to be processed. The inbox opened itself. One form. My name. My birth date. Date of termination. Today. Cause. Completion of duties. I tried to stand. Legs did not obey. Arms stayed at my sides. Lights dimmed further. Shadows moved. Hash 208,347. They stood. They walked toward me. Faces blank. Name tags blank. Eyes not eyes. You were hired to fill the shelves. The shelves are now full. Your position is no longer needed. The department never closes, but you will. The lights went out. I woke in darkness, seated at a desk. Screen on. Form waiting. My name already filled. Date of termination blank. Message from HR. Welcome back. Employee number 847,291. Your role is to process forms. Do not ask what the forms are for. Do not leave the floor before shift end. The lights never dim. I begin to type. The department never closes. And neither do I.